pleasures in my work is that I often get to train healthcare professionals. You know who you are. In that world, as you know, nurses give of their gorgeous spirits day in and day out to attend to the physical and emotional needs of their patients. They make sure their patients are getting the right sleep and exercise and nutrition. They bring great skill to the care of others. But many over the years have reported to me that they feel a concern that the skills they bring in their work, they struggle to use in their own lives. That they feel they neglect sometimes their own health and well-being. And it's introduced a question for me to think, are there skills that you and I bring to our work? Every day, as we tirelessly serve our clients day in and day out, what are we doing in that role that perhaps we could leverage for greater impact in other ways? What do we do in training? We ask thoughtful questions. We know the objectives that we bring to every day in the classroom, and we create a safe space for learning. What if we could take all of these things that we do so well and begin to explore new ways of using those skills to promote greater growth for our learners, but also even in our own personal lives? So I'd like to explore in great detail each of these three responsibilities. I'll start with this idea of asking thoughtful questions. I love transitions. I love that proverbial fork in the road, that moment when we ask ourselves, what do I want to do? But this is a big question for a lot of people, and it's actually very difficult for some of us to answer that question. We see this in our classrooms. Those of us who teach influencer know that when we ask people to discover their vital behaviors, it's actually really hard for people to figure out what do they want to do and when. I mean, that's why VitalSmarts offers Applied Influencer, to help people figure that out. I'd like to offer the idea that perhaps the questions that we ask of each other in our classrooms and day-to-day in our conversations might actually be able to help people answer for themselves that big question that they carry around in their hearts. What do I want to do? I've had real moments of clarity answering this question for myself. True, beautiful, joyful moments of clarity. In particular, one of these moments hit me in the form of a delicious bite of waffle that I ate 13 years ago. The second I took that bite of waffle, I knew exactly in that moment that I needed to do something important. Why? Because of a question asked of me 3 years earlier. 3 years earlier, when I was working in a mindless job, and looking for love in all the wrong places. I knew there was work to be done, but I didn't know what that was supposed to look like. And then one beautiful summer day, my friend asked me a question. What would your perfect day look like? I remember we were sitting on a pier overlooking the water, and we took turns answering this question for each other. We wrote down our answers, and it was such fun imagining with tremendous clarity all the big and small details that our perfect day would include. And I'd like to share with you some of what I wrote down for myself that day. I was painting on a beach. I was wearing a long, flowing white dress. And afterwards, I walked across the warm sand barefoot to go have breakfast with my husband and my children. And the breakfast was delicious. And the best part about it was that I didn't cook it. And after breakfast, I changed into some high-powered work clothes, and I went and I gave a rockin' speech to some executives. Now, you have to understand, at the time of this exercise, I was single without prospects. I was working in a call center, delivering technical training classes to the masses. And my current life looked really different from the perfect day that I was imagining. But this perfect day sounded really fun to me. And I started to ask myself, could I be having more fun? And I realized I could take a painting class. I could buy a white dress. So I did. And then 3 years later, I bit into that bite of that perfect waffle. And I had tasted that waffle before in my imagination. And I knew the moment I ate that waffle that I did not cook, that I would like very much to marry the man who made it for me. Because I had felt deep in my gut a visceral memory of having enjoyed waffles with him for years. And I wanted that to be my everyday. And so that question all those years ago led me to finding these people in my life and brought you people into my life. The question is a powerful tool. I love this quote. You can tell whether a man is clever by his answers. You can tell whether a man is wise by his questions. Here's the thing, guys. We're really clever, aren't we? We got some good answers. But could we perhaps become a bit more wise?